All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining part two of our webinar today on empowering LA fire survivors to secure their futures, fraud prevention, and local resources. This webinar is co-hosted in partnership with the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation and the Los Angeles Department of Consumer and Business Affairs within its unit called the Center for Financial Empowerment. And our agencies are committed to empowering residents with the knowledge and tools to navigate today's financial challenges, including fraud prevention and local resources, which we will be discussing today. Fraud is a major problem within LA County and in California, and people do take advantage of situations like our local wildfires. Just as um, I guess a caveat, according to the FBI's Internet Crimes report, California had 77,000 complaints of internet fraud, which cost residents $2.1 billion in losses, and that was just in 2023. So therefore, we have this collaboration between our agencies to enhance the education, protection, and advocacy for our consumers like you who are on this call. And we really hope that our partnership is able to bring you the information you need on protecting your mortgage, avoiding frauds, and dealing with the CBOs that can assist you in navigating financial issues, today's economic uncertainty, and those who have been impacted by the wildfires. So we have a plethora of subject matter experts that will be assisting us today. My name is Damon Pipkins. I'm with the LA County Department of Consumer Business Affairs. I'm a project manager here, working on the American Rescue Plan and other initiatives here within the county, along with Audrey and my boss, Jessica Morales. And she will take it from here. Thank you, Jessica.
Hi, and thank you, Damien, for setting the stage of CFE and our partnership. I want to thank everyone for joining us and also for the DFPI for collaborating on this opportunity for this webinar series. So just to set the stage a little further, is January we had tens of thousands of individuals that were displaced because of the wildfires and the impacts from the windstorms that were happening, claiming at least 29 lives. The Palisades and Eaton fires destroyed thousands of acres, devastating all of the communities that it impacted and touched in the surrounding area, and lots of individuals throughout the county who knew somebody who was impacted by this, either directly or indirectly. Now we're about 2 months down the road now. We know that the fires are fully contained, but they are one of the most destructive fires in California history. And seeing the way that we've had just an amazing outpour of response from the different agencies, both in webinars like this, at the Disaster Recovery Center, and just all the resources that came together that you're going to hear about today, is really amazing to see the support system that we have and the way that Californians rally together around our most vulnerable populations when we're impacted. So on that note, we'll go ahead and get started with some of the LA County resources. I will quickly at the top of this just state that FEMA has extended their deadlines to continue to provide housing vouchers and accept applications. So please go onto the FEMA website if you're an individual that has been impacted or if you know someone who has. Damien did a really great job actually already kind of setting the stage of what our department does. As a county, obviously, we're here to serve tens of millions of individuals and residents. As a department, we focus on initiatives that serve our consumers, our businesses, and our community population, really promoting things like education, advocacy, and then resolutions outside of litigious practices. So giving alternatives to those who are subjected to or have been taken advantage of through a fraud or scam of some kind. Right now, what we're really seeing is an increase in complaints in our investigations unit around price gouging. So what is price gouging? Price gouging is the unlawful increase of a consumer tangible good or service over 10% in an area where there is a state of emergency declared. So our area, all of LA County, has been identified as a state of emergency area. It's been part of why we see an extension in things like our tax filings. So things like rent or other tangible goods that have been increased that folks needed access to. A lot of folks who, got displaced had to replace a lot of things really quickly. So if there's inflated costs, we're seeing a lot of individuals who are reporting it. We do investigate those complaints. We also have partnered with other departments to increase the capacity our department has to be able to deal with the increase of complaints that we've seen coming in. So there is a price gouging disaster service worker coalition that is working together to address all of these complaints as quickly as possible. So it is a crime. You could be entitled to get compensated or at least your money back through some type of support through our department. And we're working really tirelessly to find resolutions for everyone who's filing a complaint. That's our department phone number. You can also go onto our website. There's also a complaint form you can fill out on our website. So that's going to be really helpful. There are also an increase. I think Damien mentioned some pretty staggering statistics about folks who are being victimized through scams and fraud. There are things like fake contractors who are demanding upfront payments, or folks who are going to be offering services that are required by Department of Health like state smoke clearing or testing. Things like debris clearing or also other rebuilding work. So there is a state agency that oversees all of the contractors. This is Contractor State Licensing Board. CSLB does investigate and take in complaints as well. We also take in complaints and make referrals. So if we can help you at the local level, we absolutely will. Again, it's through our investigations division, and it's at the same phone number that you saw on the previous screen. These slides will be provided. There's also a link on this page that will take you immediately to the disaster, how to avoid contractor and home repair scans. That's going to be something that I think we'll see during the next kind of phase of recovery for the individuals who have just lost houses or had some serious damage. You always want to make sure that you're verifying the contractor or any charities. Those are popping up pretty consistently. And then again, if you have any questions on any of this during my presentation or during the subsequent presentations, please add all of your questions into the chat so that we can address them all at the end. But again, the slides will be made available to you, and y'all can also just ask away at the end of this presentation. We'll get through as many of them as we can, and all of the links here to verify the charities and contractor license will be our live links. One of the other things that we're seeing is folks being really impacted by their credit scores. If you joined us last week, there was an amazing presentation by Public Counsel where we really talked about bankruptcy and talked about other options and talked about things, whether it's because of your mortgage or because of other debts that you're struggling to pay. A lot of people lost vehicles in the fire. Really large assets that were either insured or underinsured potentially. All of that can have a really negative impact. This is important. We do assist folks with understanding your credit at CFE. We do have counselors that you can book appointments with. This is just an overview and a great kind of barometer about where you fall into your current credit score and how it's been impacted, and maybe how we can support you in challenging things that should not be on your credit. We haven't heard any new initiatives around folks who were potentially having negative impacts, but one of the points that Public Counsel made last week that I thought was really important to share again today was working directly with your creditors, whether it's your credit card payment, whether it's your mortgage payment, or whether it's a car payment. Work with the lender who is financing your loan and ensure that you are letting them know about your current fiscal situation. A lot of folks are, again, really pulling together to try and find accommodations. And if you have any questions, you can always contact DCBA. We can try and guide you through what that conversation looks like. Or also Public Counsel was attorneys available and can give you some actual sound legal advice for free. How does it impact you? So this is an example of how your FICO score can impact just financing something like a $20,000 car, which right now are really not accessible because we know that cars are really expensive right now. The interest amount that you're paying, how long you're going to be carrying the debt, and then what your annual rate is going to be are all impacted by your credit score. And we know that recovery is hard and slow, and there's a lot of things that need to get financed. So again, if you've been living a little bit on credit, trying to get reimbursed, this is the time to take a really good look at your credit score, look at the details of that credit score, and then identify some areas where you can make some shifts and sound budgeting so that you don't fall into one of these categories that end up reducing your credit score overall and then just put you in a really difficult position to carry high monthly payments, paying more in interest over time. And again, like do this now before things start to bubble up and think you don't have the opportunity to check your credit score. Okay, warning signs. So again, if there's an agency that you're working with who is talking about credit clearing or credit cleaning, we hear this a lot, and this is a pretty common complaint that DCBA receives, is you pay folks to help you consolidate debts and manage your debt because it is a lot. It can be very financially overwhelming. It can impact your mental health, and we'll get into that later. The most important thing is to look for the red flags when you're dealing with individuals or businesses that are claiming something that's too good to be true. So they tell you not to contact the credit reporting agencies directly, which again is absolutely in your right. They provide free credit reports annually. There many of the credit reporting agencies, if you have a subscription or even under a free subscription, can give you changes and notifications. You can freeze your credit. You can do a lot of different things through the credit reporting agencies that are free. They also ask for advance fees. They don't give you a contract. Again, not putting something in writing, it really allows for there to be suspicious activity or unclear expectations about what that business is doing for you and why you're paying for that service. So just make sure you get things in writing. They don't explain your legal rights to you. So again, as a individual, you have a right to your credit reports. You have a right to work with a credit reporting agency on anything that you think is incorrect on your credit report. They promise you a new credit identity. There's no way that you can start over, unfortunately, without doing something like bankruptcy, which again also impacts your credit score overall. And that just is another way to manage debt. And again, it isn't necessarily right for every person. So I really urge you to go back and re-listen to the first webinar where Public Counsel talks a lot at length about bankruptcy. They also tell you that they can remove information from your report, even if it is accurate. So again, there's only challenges. The only challenges that you can rightfully make is things that appear to be inaccurate. So accounts that weren't necessarily opened by you, inquiries that may have been pulled by somebody else, things of that nature. So just bear that in mind. Enhanced homeowner notification program. So we do have also at DCBA a foreclosure prevention division. There are certain Senate bills and Assembly bills that were passed that really created just a more sound way of protecting your asset and your home. So anytime there's a notice of default, a notice of sale, or a grant deed that's filed, you should be getting copies of that and notifications of that mailed to you, and other notifications that our partners at the assessor's office will also cover today. So again, if for whatever reason you do receive a notice of default at this time, there are other opportunities for you to work with your lender. You want to explore all the options to be able to try and save your home or your property and land at this time. They do also have to provide eviction information and alternate housing options. So call us, work with our office. This is our, again, foreclosure prevention division. They have worked on things like refinancing homes. They have given people options about extended payment periods, things like that. So we really do work with your lenders, and we have pretty good relationships with many of them. So this has been around for years now. This program has really grown and continues to be an amazing free resource for homeowners that are find themselves in a difficult position with their property. Again, scams are part of this too. There's wherever there's an opportunity, there may be a scam that's following. So people will contact you offering some foreclosure assistance. Again, this isn't a service that you need to pay for if you go through our department, but they may ask you for money up front. They can guarantee you that they can stop a foreclosure. That's never a guarantee that we'll make. We will work with your lender to try and extend it and do everything possible to, again, give you the time that you need, or potentially, give you other options about refinancing and what that might look like. They may tell you to stop making payments to your home or your mortgage, tell you not to contact your lender directly, or ask you to transfer the property to their name. And believe it or not, there is folks who think that you're saving your property by putting it in someone else's name, and they lose all access to those assets, and it creates a really devastating issue. So again, things to look out for is no contracts. They're unclear about what the expectations are for the services they're providing. And again, there isn't a free alternative through our department. This is an overview of the foreclosure process in the state of California. There is always a notice that has to be filed. And again, because of those state laws, you will be notified of them. So you should always have access to that. Whatever your new mailing address is, it'll be forwarded to that address. If for whatever reason you don't have that, or you've been having issues with your mail, you can also contact our office and we can help you find and direct you on how to get copies of anything that was filed. We have been hearing a couple of instances where insurance companies may be seeing things that banks aren't reporting to homeowners. So insurance companies are stating things like, oh, your home's in a notice of default when it isn't. So again, you just want to be clear. So if you have any misinformation or concerns about information that's coming from either your insurance provider or the actual lender itself, then contact our office and we can kind of walk you through navigating that so you don't have to navigate alone. Same with the notice of trustee sale. It goes to auction. And again, all of this there's many, many lengths of time between each of these steps. So, if something is postponed, if something is canceled, it restarts the process. And there's been a lot of examples of success in postponing things that then give the original homeowner, an opportunity to either find safe alternative housing or potentially even get back their home. Trust deeds are the final filing. So again, by default, everyone will be notified. Okay. So this is an overview. This is something to be familiar with. Again, this process takes many, many months. But if you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask. This is the contact information for our foreclosure prevention division. If you have questions directly for them, homehelp@dcba.lacounty.gov is the best email for you to use. We have a generic department email, but this will get you in contact directly with the foreclosure prevention division, who are the experts in this. In no means am I an expert in this field. So absolutely, please contact them. But if you do go through CFE, we will always connect you to the right party. So one of the things we talked about earlier was wildfire debris removal and contractors potentially offering to remove things at cost. There is a free wildfire debris removal service. There is a form that you do have to fill out online. It's working with the Department of Public Works, fire. There's a bunch of folks that are involved to make sure that there's a safe debris removal. Homes that burnt down, all kinds of stuff, right? Your electronics, your cleaning products, just a lot of things. So we want to make sure that the debris removal is done correctly and safely, and any hazardous debris is being disposed of properly. So again, property owners that are in the designated wildfire disaster areas within LA County do have this right of entry form that you need to submit. The deadline was, I believe, going to be extended. I don't have that date confirmed, but as of right now, March 31st. So you have until the end of this month. You have a couple days. Please, please, please go online and fill out that form as soon as possible. And then again, if you have any questions, you can contact the office number that is listed there as well. Okay, tenant rights and housing assistance. So if you were a tenant, there is, again, we talked about price gouging, which is listed here as well under the tenant and housing resources. You can contact our department if for whatever reason you are, the cost of a unit has gone up from original listings over 10%, you may be able to file a price gouging complaint. There are also some financial assistance and relocation assistance that you may be entitled to. You can't evict tenants that were affected by the fire without cause. There was also a new moratorium that was passed that our tenants' rights and housing division, who basically do all of the assistance around rent stabilization for LA County's unincorporated area, can give you more guidance on. And that's the phone number that's listed there, that 800-593-8222. So please call them. You can get in touch with the tenant protection folks from that number. And you can also file a complaint if you find yourself in a situation where the rent was unduly raised. Okay, property taxes and assessments. Again, last week we had an amazing, truly just amazing plethora of information from the assessor's office. We do have folks joining us today to talk a little bit about that, but again, there are tons of new ways that you can identify your property as having been impacted, having an opportunity to postpone things like your property tax payments, talking about reassessment for damages that are destroyed. So I would strongly urge you to, one, visit the assessor's page on the link that's provided there. You can contact their general office number as well. And again, our assessors are with us today. So if you have questions specifically for them, please put them in the chat. I'll also state that the webinar last week was very thorough about all the different options that people have right now and some of the initiatives that assessors underway in taking in terms of how they're planning extensions and changing certain legislation to support folks who are impacted by the wildfire. So please watch webinar 1. It was an amazing part of this series. And again, you have assessors staff here today to answer any of your questions. All of this can be very taxing. All of this can be super overwhelming on both your financial strain and your financial health, as well as your mental health. There are crisis text lines that are available. There's 24/7 support, specifically for those who are being just distressed by the disaster process. Whether you're impacted directly or indirectly, a lot of folks are either housing people or family members or friends who were displaced. And again, it's just a change in lifestyle that can be very overwhelming. And just navigating all these resources can be a lot. So again, you're not alone in doing it. You have partners here at the county level, at the state level, and at our CBO level. So again, Public Counsel is an amazing resource for those who need any legal assistance. But do take advantage of the free mental health service support line. They have heard it all. There has been a lot of devastation that has happened early this year, and then all the fallout of what's happening and continuing to rebuild and recover. So I urge you to contact the helpline or text the crisis text line, or reach out for 24/7 support. Visit their website. They're also hosting things like webinars for folks as well, just on general mental health services. So again, please take advantage. It is absolutely a difficult thing that people are experiencing right now. So again, you're not alone in the trauma that all of these disasters have caused for us as a community. The disaster recovery centers, so they are still open. There is 2 that you'll find, both the DCBA and a ton of other resources, including FEMA, fire, public works, DMH, lots of departments, both local, federal, and statewide, who are at the recovery centers and managing the recovery centers. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you want a list of the folks that are at those centers, you can go online to recovery.lacounty.gov, and those recovery centers have a list of every agency that you would find at those centers. It's pretty up-to-date list, so if there's somebody that you're looking for and you want to go find them in person and have a conversation, you absolutely can find them there. These are the addresses, and again, we also have staff there Monday through Saturday supporting all of the work that everyone at that center is doing. All right, and with that, I will take a minute. Sorry, I know there's a lot of information, and again, the slides are going to be distributed, so I will hand it back to Damien, and thank you all for joining us and giving me the opportunity to share some resources.
All right. Thank you very much, Jessica, for all of that wonderful information. If you all have questions, please type them in the Q&A and we will answer them at the end. And our next presenter is going to be Nicole White Gamble from the um, assessor's office. And she's going to do a great presentation. As Jessica said previous, our webinar one also had the assessor. And he spoke on some of the issues regarding rebuilding, property taxes, and today we're going to hear, I think, about e-alert and more fraud prevention services that the assessor can uh, provide for us. So thank you, and take it away, Nicole.
Thank you, Damian. So again, I'm Nicole White Gamble, and I'm the Director of Operations for the Los Angeles County Assessor's Office Rural Services Subdepartment. On behalf of Assessor Jeffrey Prang, thank you for inviting our office to join today's webinar to empower LA fire survivors. Unfortunately, during these times of disaster and uncertainty, a reality is that potential scammers and other unscrupulous individuals will try to take advantage of the situation. So first, our department is reminding everyone that no government office, including the assessor's office, will ever charge you for our services. If someone charges you to complete the misfortune and calamity form, please contact the Department of Business and Consumer Affairs. If you suspect that you may be the victim of a potential property-related scam, first of all, rely on your gut. If something does not make sense to you, ask for a business card, request additional information, and then take steps to verify the firm and the information the representative provides. Occasionally, it is necessary for appraisers from the assessor's office to visit and physically inspect the property for assessment purposes. You should not admit any person claiming to work for the assessor's office to your property unless they are able to show you their official county photo identification. Also, be aware of government imposters, persons who identify themselves as city, county, or state staff. If they ask you for information that's out of the ordinary, a particular personal identification or financial information, you should question them and not provide that information unless they're able to identify themselves. Further, to assist with reliable and timely notification, we launched a program last year in collaboration with the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs and the Register Recorder County Clerk. It's called the Assessor's Homeowner Alert, and we hope to mitigate the threat of real estate fraud to anybody who has property in Los Angeles County. With this homeowner alert, anytime someone attempts to record something on your property, like a grant deed, trust, or a lien, you will get an email notification within 48 hours. This is in addition to the letter from the Register Recorder's office, which comes in the mail 45 days after you record a document. The expedited mail notification allows you to act on scams and frauds quicker than before. And you can register for this service as indicated here at the assessor.lacounty.gov/news-information/e-notification. I want to continue to talk about our online services, and I'd like to highlight our e-file service. The e-file service now allows property owners to file the change of mailing address request, eliminating the need for you to mail your physical form to our office. Property owners can also file the homeowner's exemption form and, very importantly, this misfortune and calamity form. This is highlighting our ongoing commitment to streamline your online operations. Lastly, I would like to strongly encourage you to sign up for the Assessor's Office newsletter. This is the best way to stay informed about upcoming town halls, resource events, and any new relief programs that may be available in the coming weeks and months. 2 weeks ago, we did a very in-depth video forum, and we answered a lot of questions regarding misfortune and calamity. It was recorded, and we also had many of our partners provided valuable information. Finally, property owners can complete their misfortune and calamity claim form on our website to expedite filing process and access valuable information. I want to mention that fire survivors can obtain valuable disaster relief information by visiting our website at assessor.lacounty.gov. If you select the relief for properties impacted by a disaster, or you can click on file here on the misfortune and calamity e-form page, and you'll find many valuable resources there. So thank you all for allowing us to be a part of this webinar. And again, here's all of the information and ways that you can contact our department to get assistance. So thank you, Damien.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. So I hope everyone has taken this in so far. We're getting to our last presenter, Audrey Casillas of the Korean Youth Community Center. And we worked closely together on VITA programs. And she has a great coalition of people that she works with. And she's going to give a little a bit of a presentation on her organization's ability to assist people through this process and prevent scams and frauds. And take it away when you're ready.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Damien. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a few slides, and we will wrap up today's presentations with a Q&A session, so stick around. Thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Audrey Casillas. I am coming to you from Koreatown Youth and Community Center. I'm happy to share some resources from the nonprofits and social service providers here in Southern California. We are often working hand in hand with the county to supplement the services and programs that they provide. Since the wildfires, we've been very busy supporting our clients, not only with immediate response, but also long-term recovery. For many of the victims or folks that are impacted by the fires, they have never accessed social services before, or maybe even county benefits. And so hopefully I can share a little bit about what we do to help with the long-term relief and provide you with some information and resources that are near you. Maybe you'll find some assistance that is valuable. A little bit about KYCC. We are a multi-service organization. We provide support for the entire family in multiple areas. We have over 50 years experience, and we're trusted in the community. We are just one of the organizations that I'll be talking about today. There are many places across the county that are providing services just like KYCC. So hopefully this will give you some insight on where you can turn to if you want to find a trusted resource for basic things like application assistance, all the way to benefit enrollments or personal counseling, personal financial coaching, and all of that. So KYCC, we offer a number of resources all year long. Again, we're not a temporary program. We're here long-withstanding in the Los Angeles community. Anything from public benefit enrollments, free tax preparation assistance, financial education, individual coaching. I won't go through all of the list, but you can see that we're providing services for families in different stages in their life and different stages of need, and many of which will come in handy with families who are impacted by the fires, either directly with loss of property or maybe just loss of work and hours and probably some of their normal day-to-day life and how we can help them and anything from the list that's provided here. So I shared a little bit about the immediate response. Some of the nonprofits are out there at the resource centers in Westwood and Pasadena. We are providing things like basic necessities, emergency childcare, emotional support, even emergency financial assistance and information and resources and referral. Like Jessica mentioned, there's so many things coming and going, assistance programs, relief aid, maybe temporary shelter, things like that. And you may need somebody to help you navigate all of that. And a lot of the information is sent to nonprofits, it's sent to the case managers, it's sent to financial coaches. And we can help you go through all of the programs that are available, coming and going, but also help you in that application or helping you sort those documents or even acquire the documents that you need to benefit from these programs. And then what we really are, our real goal is to be here for long term. We are providing benefit enrollment all year long, financial coaching. If you need help looking for a job, increasing your hours, improving your resume, things like that. If you need supportive services moving forward, that's the kind of work that nonprofits do. And I'm going to share some resources across the city and the county of Los Angeles where you can access trained and certified providers. First, also under the CFE, Damien and Jessica, they are supporting over 20 organizations with financial coaching. And so we, provide a resource where you can visit their toolkit and find the agencies close to you or find the agencies that have a specific forte, a specific area that you may be looking for. A financial coach can help you look at your personal finances, set up a goal, work towards accessing programs and benefits, which is really important when we see all of these programs and resources coming out and we're not sure what we qualify for, or maybe you haven't even been notified and you don't know what you can benefit from. The next network is within the city of Los Angeles. It is the Family Source Center Network. KYCC is a Family Source Center, but there are 18 others, 19 total, that help in areas of increasing family income, housing stability, and even helping youth. And this is really important when we talk about stabilizing the lives of our family, especially those that we're serving or the folks who may be on this call. I'm going to wrap up this presentation with some examples of how we've been able to support families just really get over the initial shock of the wildfires. We have this client, Hi, she came in, her business was impacted. She, with the help of a business counselor, was able to provide for some short-term financing from the SBA. Again, with language access or even just knowing that this is available, the business counselor at KYCC was able to walk this client through. Part of the process was even checking their credit, making sure that they qualified. They're also having to create a new budget and plan because this is a new a payment. Also, the client benefited from the relief fund. There was a relief fund that came out for businesses that were impacted. Again, that program came and has now closed. And that's just one example of how the business counselor was able to kind of look at the whole picture, see all of the resources and support them through all of those processes. Another one, which you may be familiar with folks who are selling street vendors, and they were also impacted. And there's been some programs to benefit these individuals, in particular, some cash aid that came out through Inclusive Action. And then in this case, this family needed some help with food and diapers, basic necessities, even filed their taxes for free at our center and applied for rental assistance. Because of the disruption in income, we're looking at ways to fill the gap. Lastly, we also have our last family, Lourdes. She has some children, a little older. We helped her with unemployment benefits. Of course, you have to go online. It's very confusing, and it's a program specific just to LA County. And so with the support of a financial coach, she's able to access this cash aid and claim what is hers. There's other ways that she's working with the financial coach to really just stabilize the family and just give them ongoing support. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I wanted to provide, and this will be in the presentation that you'll get in your email, the links where you can see all of the financial coaching network and the specific services that they provide. If you're a small business, if you're a homeowner, if you have other deeper long-term need, the financial coaching network is a wonderful, wonderful tool that's here to help, and also the family source centers as well. So thank you so much. This is our information if you'd ever want to send an email. And I'll send it back to Damien and Q for the closeout Q&A session. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Audrey, so much for that information. And like we said, the fires are impacting people across the board. Jessica and I went out to the disaster recovery centers as part of the county's response, and you see people with pets, you see people with children, you see seniors with various disabilities, from wheelchairs to walkers, or just walking slow and making sure people aren't running them over in the center while they're trying to get services. Um, so again, if you've been impacted, use the recovery.la.gov website, use the local CBOs that check your papers, because there are events throughout the county, various churches, CBOs, um, and everyone is doing all they can to assist people. And just again, on frauds, the people aren't going to come out looking like a scammer. They will have something that looks like a county badge. They will have a patch on their shirt. They will speak nicely. Do not trust anyone. Verify everything, because these people will scam you. They will take thousands of your dollars and they will disappear. There was a story of a lady who was doing FEMA fraud since Hurricane Katrina. She just goes from disaster area to disaster area committing fraud. So please be mindful. And with that, I'll give it over to Q to assist us with the Q&A. We have answered some questions. Please feel free to type them in the Q&A. And can they speak, Q, or is it all just typed into the Q&A section?
Yeah, thank you, Damien. So the Zoom's Q&A, we've muted and turned off everybody's camera. So the best way for you to get your your questions answered, especially live here, is to submit them into the Zoom's Q&A feature. We have plenty of time, so we would love to answer your questions. Please feel free to put them in there. We have a great panel of specialists and experts. And also just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and we will be publishing this webinar onto the DFPI's YouTube channel. I'll put a link into the chat so you can go check it out. Also, as a reminder, everyone who registered for this webinar will get a follow-up email. That follow-up email it'll have the slides to this presentation attached to it, and also have a link to the webinar recording. So look out for that when it comes later on today. Okay, so with that, we do have a couple of questions right now in the Q&A queue. So feel free to submit your questions if you have them. First question: are there any programs that will get my family and I into an apartment? We don't have great credit, and we've been bouncing around for the last 2 months. Anyone, feel free, any specialists, to jump in and answer that one, give your feedback.
Okay, well, I'll start first. Just because I put the link to our renters information on the recoveryla.gov website. There's also assistance through HUD, where you can use like housing counseling services that just help you navigate some of the processes. And then I'll see what any other of our audience members has in that regard.
Damien, I'll share. You can give KYCC a call. We can see what we can do. We have programs with City of Los Angeles. It's their guidelines, and that's under our Family Source Center.
Okay, anyone else? A lot of great information here. KYCC is amazing, so please reach out to them. They're a great partner of ours too. Okay, next question here. What is the Homestead Act /form? Do we need to fill it out online?
So I'll go ahead and start with that. I would recommend that you contact both the Foreclosure Prevention. Homestead Act is an exemption that basically protects the home of a debtor and some of its equity from being seized by creditors. There is a process for it. I will say that I don't know what the value of the protection is in the county of Los Angeles, and it does vary by county. but I would recommend that you contact our office, reach out to the foreclosure prevention or also public counsel, which again was on the webinar last week. They can also help you with navigating how to file that form and what it means if you're trying to protect certain amounts of your assets and equity in your home.
Thank you, Jessica. So yeah, the webinar actually happened 2 days ago. I know it feels like a week ago.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank
No,
you.
you're okay. It does 2 days from now. It already feels like a week, but we do have the recording on our YouTube channel. So please, if you want to rewatch it, go to the DFPI YouTube channel. I will put that into the chat, and we have it there. Rewatch it. I don't see any other questions coming in. Again, reminder, please submit your questions into the Q&A. Oh, here's one that just came up. Is there any resources in getting help with the increased electricity bills? My bill jumped up like $100.
This is a really great question. This is another one for our Family Source Center. Give KYCC a call. We'll screen you to see what programs are available. We do some application assistance with HEAP, which is a county program. There are providers, depending on where you live, you can go directly with them. But that's just an example of how we can assist you. We could actually help you fill out the forms or give you the phone number and direct contact for the HEAP provider.
Great, thank you, Audrey. Here's kind of a follow-up question. For electricity, I have SoCal Edison. Is there any help I could get that?
Similar response. There's a HEAP program that's administered by 3 agencies in the county. So that's information and resource we can provide. We can help you fill out the paperwork. We directly administer a very small program with Edison, and it's a very small bill payment assistance. It may not cover the full bill, but KYCC does have an Edison affiliated program.
Thank you again, Audrey. And I don't have Edison, but I do have like PG&E, and I would always recommend reaching out to them and seeing if they do have any particular programs to help you out for your electrical utility bill. Okay, so again, if you do have any more questions, please submit it to Q&A. There were some questions that were submitted to us during registration. I'm going to go through a couple of them, and then we'll hit up any other live questions that are submitted to us. Again, plenty of time here, so please take your time, submit questions to us. We're here to help you. All right, where can I find local resources on fraud prevention and stay informed about the different methods and tricks?
Yeah, definitely. There's always new methods that people are trying to leverage to take advantage of the public, especially during times of disaster. Unfortunately, those create a lot of opportunity for that. So if you go to the DCBA website, you can sign up for our newsletter. You can follow us on social media. I would also recommend that you do that for all the agencies actually on here, because we all touch different areas of fraud and layers of investigation, whether it's through the DFPI at the state level or through the county at the local level or through our CBO nonprofit partnerships like KYCC. The best thing you can do is arm yourself with information, and that's by following and getting information directly from trusted partners that are either government agencies or legitimate CBOs that work with government agencies. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you, Jessica. In the DFPI, we do a lot of protect yourself from fraud presentations. We partner with the CSLB, the Contractor State Licensing Board, which they do a lot of senior scam stopper events, usually in partnership with local state legislators. What I would recommend is and I'll put this in the chat, you can check out the DFPI's event calendar. We have many events, whether they're virtual or in person. Some of them are in Southern California, and many of them, by the way, are protect yourself from fraud presentations. So you can sign up for our newsletter, get informed about the different events happening, or keep checking our community event calendar to see if there's any protect yourself from fraud presentation happening. Again, we update our slides almost every time we do it, because as you know, and as Jessica says, the frauds and scammers continue to evolve and better enhance their scams and we want to bring awareness to help protect you. So great question. Looks like I have, let me look, do I have any more live questions? I have one other question that was submitted to us during registration. Are there any resources available for businesses that had substantial loss of income? More about grants, not so much about loans.
So there was a grant program that was being run through the Department of Economic Opportunity. It was a small business relief grant, and there was a separate one for a worker grant program, since the Department of Economic Opportunity does both workforce training and support services and econ development for small businesses. I believe that the application may have closed at the beginning of this month. But they do have other resources. They're also looking to potentially open new rounds if they get additional funding. And again, the county and all of our agency partners are really coming together to try and get both philanthropic dollars and other types of grants that we can infuse into the community that was impacted. So Department of Economic Opportunity, it's opportunity.lacounty.gov is their website. They had that posted front and center. You can double check on the small business relief grant. They also have an office of small business that you can connect to that will connect you to a bunch of other resources like KYCC, like the Small Business Administration. I know the Small Business Administration is really only focusing on loans right now, but those are some other options that you can explore.
Yeah, and we also have the Los Angeles Small Business Disaster Resources from smallbizla.org. They gave a presentation, was that maybe a month ago? At the, we have another event we go to quarterly. And so that's smallbizla.org. See with that, I also want to let Audrey, can you speak a little bit just to like our VITA coalition? And so if people call you, because people are all over the county, and so our partnerships that are up in Lancaster, Palmdale, down in Long Beach. So just give a little spiel on that. So if they call you, you can refer them, or we can refer them to a trusted partner.
Right, yeah. So KYCC, we never do our work alone. We have a network of over 45 tax VITA sites, volunteer income tax assistance, and we're working with the county. And tax is just one part of the work. Like I explained, we're resource centers. We provide individual case management, coaching. Tax is part of the work, and it's really important right now because folks really need that cash. We provide free tax preparation. If you call our center at KYCC, we're able to help you get the appointment regardless of where you are in the county. Like Damien mentioned, we're able to book if you want an appointment in Antelope Valley or different part of the city, county, doesn't matter. We'll find that closest location to you. And it's a really great way to start that connection, meeting the centers, because these are the centers that are also providing ongoing supportive services too.
Yeah. And the website for the taxes is?
freetaxprepla.org. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so another question that came in. What is the FHA 203H loan and how do I apply?
I would say go through that housing counseling service with HUD, because again, they were also at an event we went to about a month ago, and they explained how those resources can assist you in rebuilding. And they have an office down here in Los Angeles, just down the street from us. And they can assist you, because that's a little bit out of our scope. But again, that's a federal partner that would be able to assist you with that process.
All right, great, Damien. Looks like another question came in. Might be a follow-up. Not looking to rebuild, but to buy. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. So looks like it's just a follow-up comment to that last question. Any other questions? I want to give everybody about 30.
That would be the same answer too, because the housing counselors, they're helping people rebuild, relocate, renters, owners. So yeah, definitely start with those housing counselors at HUD or who work with HUD.
Awesome. Thank you, Damien. I'm going to give everyone, I know we're right up on the hour, another 30 seconds. In the meantime, I do want to say thank you to all the great presentations and the presenters taking the time. Also, thank you to everyone for joining. Damon, do you want to wrap us up?
Sure. Just everyone, please stay vigilant. Know that there are plenty of resources to assist you. Make sure they're credible. Verify. Call in. Do your research. Go online. Because there is real help, but there's fake help too. And we want to make sure you get the real help. Okay? Thank you. And I guess you could sign us off too if you're still on, or yeah. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye.